If you're just joining us, my name is Jim Kwik. We are live on Zoom. We're live in Facebook group. We're live in our app right now. We're on Instagram live also as well. And what we're doing is we're introducing you to the Limitless Reading Challenge. And this is to read 30 books this year. Now, there are lots of challenges that are out there with lots of different speakers. Some of them have dozens of speakers, which are amazing. This is a 1 hour deep dive every single day for the next 5 days. There are no other presenters or experts. And we're going to share with you the strategies of genius, really, how to be a better reader. Today, we're going to focus on speed reading. Tomorrow, memory improvement. The next day, focus and concentration. And the last 2 days, Thursday and Friday, we're going to go over mindset, the mindset of a strong reader and a smarter reader, and also that of motivation, how to hack your motivation so you actually follow through. You could use a fiction book today or a nonfiction book. Hello to everybody in Instagram land who's watching also as well. And to get the replays, you could join our app. Just search Kwik Brain on your app and you'll get the videos there. And little by little, little becomes a lot. Good question. We are in our private Facebook group. We have 114,000 people there. We have 2,400 people watching live on Zoom and a good 1,200 people watching on Instagram. So this is what we're all about. If we're new to each other and new friends, my name is Jim Kwik of Kwik Learning. I help people to learn quickly. I'm here with our Limitless librarian, Jenna, on the screen, if you're watching this on Zoom or in our favorite Facebook group. And we're going to go over strategies of genius. Okay, so let's go into this. You're going to need a book and a notebook. All right, so whatever you're reading. My goal is to get you reading 30 books over this course of this year. That's only 20 pages a day. There's no excuse, even if you're not a speed reader, to not be able to make time for 20 books, 20 pages in a day. So let's go through this. And I first want to introduce you to Limitless Model, all right, because that's everything that it's based on. It's based on the book Limitless. Someone's asking what I'm reading now. I already went through some of my favorite books earlier. Peak Sleep. This interview is going to go live soon. This is Peak Sleep Performance for Athletes by an amazing sleep doctor. We're going to have him. These are actually all the books I'm about to show you are future podcast episodes. Whole Brain Living by Dr. Jill Bolte-Taylor. Amazing. She is a brain scientist, a brain doctor, if you will, who had a hemorrhage. And she was actually diagnosing herself while she was having this challenge, and she has the chops to be able to. Amazing! It's going to be an amazing interview. My friend, Dr. Drew, Eat to Beat Depression and Anxiety, who's coming on our podcast also as well, and then upcoming podcast with our friend Dr. Shafali. Amazing on parenting, amazing expert on relationships. But we're going to talk to her from a mind's perspective. Everything always with Kwik Brain always has to do with the mind. And then, yes, her Dr. Jill Bolte-Taylor's TED Talk was the #2 TED Talk of all time at one point. Amazing. Name of the podcast, Tom, is Kwik Brain. And then this book, which we actually released this episode out, Effortless. This is with Greg McEwen. This is about effortless. His first book, his other book, Essentialism. How many of you read Essentialism? Amazing book. And it is, okay, so Essentialism is doing the right things for the right reasons. But he realized that some people are doing the right things for the right reasons, but they're doing them the wrong way. And so effortless was how to make things easier and more enjoyable. And so so if you haven't listened to that podcast episode, we released it last week, you must listen to it. Kwikbrain.com, kwkbrain.com. Our show consistently is one of the top educational training shows on iTunes. Tens of millions of downloads, thousands of 5-star reviews. Thank you for that. Also, while I'm on the topic, for all of you who read Limitless and all the different languages that it's in, we almost have 10,000 ratings, which is astonishing. So thank you for everyone who's taking the time to do that. This recording will be recorded in our app. And so you can watch it in our app. Just search Kwik Brain in our app. And I appreciate it also. Okay, you know how we become limitless? Whether it's reading, memory, focus, we become limitless together. Right? And so that's how we can become limitless in a limited world. So when people have questions here, and there are many of the same questions, please, somebody help jump in. And when you teach it, you get to learn it twice. Remember that. When you teach it, you get to learn it twice. So let's jump into the Limitless Model. This is the DNA of the Limitless book. And I want everyone to grab a piece of paper and let's draw some notes. I want everyone to, and if you've heard me say this before, remember that what keeps us from becoming an expert or that level of mastery is saying we know this already, right? The experts, they love leaning into the fundamentals. They love leaning into the basics, right? And so I wanted everyone to draw a Venn diagram. A Venn diagram is 3 intersecting circles, all right? 3 intersecting circles. It's kind of like Mickey Mouse, 2 ears that intersect and a face that intersects. So everyone draw that out. Now, math. Yeah, math is fun. By the way, like if you're in our Limitless group, in the Facebook group and in our app, we have like, I don't share a lot of, Alexis, can you see if I could share screen on Zoom? And by the way, if you're watching this on Instagram, please, and I love you for it, download the app and watch it there also, because then you can see the share screens, or join our Facebook group. We have 114,000 people in there also as well. But if you could enable sharing. So like look at these, how amazing these notes are. Do you see these notes? These are from people who have read the book and have outlined the mindset, the motivation, everything that's, that we focus on here. So I would love everyone to see this art. It's pretty extraordinary. Let me see, let me stop share. But we have these, but you're basically drawing a Venn diagram right now. Venn diagram, and a Venn diagram is 3 intersecting circles. And now this is the key to becoming limitless, all right? If you get anything out of this, there's 3 M's. So everyone think about where you feel like you're limited. Maybe it's in your reading. Let's focus on reading. Your reading speed, your reading focus, your reading retention, your ability to apply what you read, right? If you feel like you're in a box, now you could also, maybe you're a great reader, maybe apply this towards your health or your relationship. Maybe feel limited in your income, limited in your contribution, your impact. There's 3 forces that keep you in that box, because that box is 3-dimensional, right? So there's 3 forces that keep you in that box. And these are the same 3 forces that will liberate you out of that box. And they're represented by these 3 intersecting circles. Now, the last circle, the one on the bottom, the face of Mickey Mouse, if you will, are the methods. All right, and that's the methods that we teach. And many of you have gone through our speed reading program. It's 21 days, 15 minutes a day, where I guarantee you will triple your reading speed, improve focus, improve comprehension, improve retention of the information. Those are the methods, right? I'm going to share a couple of those methods today, and then every single day this week. But you could still be stuck in that box, because that first circle is your mindset. Your mindset could keep you stuck in that box. That's why we're going to address it later this week. And I'm going to share with you, I believe genius leaves clues. And there's no such thing as a good or bad reader. There's a trained reader and an untrained reader. There is no such thing as a good or bad reader. There's a trained reader and an untrained reader. And you either learned it well when you were a child, or you didn't, or you learned it some other time. And so what is the... what's your mindset around it? Because you can learn a great method on how to read better, focus, remember, but if your mindset is, oh, I'm too old, or I'm not smart enough, or I have a horrible memory, you're going to still be stuck in that box, right? So in mindset, we talk about the 7 lies to reading and learning. And a lie stands for what? What does lie stand for in my book? Because many of you read Limitless already. I speak a little bit too fast. I have so much I want to share, right? Limited, idea, entertained. Absolutely, Michael. Limited, idea, entertained. That's what lie stands for. Limited, idea, entertained. And this is great because part of having a great memory, they call it retrieval, right? There's 3 parts to a memory. You encode it, you store it, you retrieve it. It's the retrieving out that actually helps to ingrain it and go from your short-term to long-term memory. So that recall practice helps you to learn it better. Also, when you learn to teach it, you'll learn it better also as well. And so, and a lot of people are asking the same questions about, is this being recorded? Yes, in the app. And so if people ask in the future, maybe somebody can answer it also as well. Thank you so much. So that's your mindset. So the first M is your mindset. But you could have a great mindset. That's number 1. And the number 3 is the methods, but still be stuck in that box because you need the second M, which is what? Tell me, everyone. What's the second M? Mindset, methods, and what? Motivation. Thank you. And see, I love how we have 2,500 people on Zoom. We have a whole community watching this in Facebook. You know, we have over 114,000 people there. We have everyone knows like motivation, right? Because if you're not motivated to read, you could have the greatest mindset about being a smart reader. You could have the great method, but if you're not motivated, you're not going to do it. And you can't type fast enough. That's okay. That's why we're recording this. Now, here's the thing. Mindset, motivation, methods. When you combine those, you get 3 I's because there's overlaps, right? And those overlaps are really important when it comes to reading. Where mindset and motivation cross over, you have the first I, which is inspiration, right? And what's an inspiring speaker do? Or what does an inspiring book do for you? What does an inspiring movie do for you? It changes your mindset of what's possible. You know, you could dream bigger, you could set bigger goals, and it also gives you some motivation and some drive, right? That's inspiration. But you're inspired, but you have no instruction because it's not including the methods, right? A lot of people are very inspired or motivated, but they don't know what to do. Now, where mindset crosses over with the methods, mindset and methods, you have the second I, which is ideation. You have the limitless mindset. I believe it's possible. I believe I deserve it. I believe I'm capable of reading through 2 or 3 times faster. And you have the methods. You know how to do it because you went through proper training, but you're not motivated to do it. So that's why that's ideation. And then finally, where motivation crosses over with methods, and everyone's putting it right here in Zoom, is what? You have motivation and you have methods. You have implementation. And so that's great because ideas are a dime a dozen. The people that will apply are the ones that are getting, it's knowledge is not power. It's a lie. Knowledge is what? Tell me, these quotes because I've said it so many times. Knowledge is not power. It's potential power, right? Anita, absolutely. Candace, potential power. Robert, it has the potential to be power. It only becomes power when we utilize it. And so when you have motivation and methods, you have implementation, but you could still be stuck in that box because you're only going to be able to achieve what your mindset allows. Does that make sense? Now here's the big kind of takeaway, and I'll show it here on screen, where all 3 M's or all 3 I's intersect right there in the middle. That is what? That is integration. That's the 4th I. Right there in the middle, you have integration. Integration, like integer or integral, is just, means it's a whole number, right? It's whole. It's just who you are. And that is the limitless state. And that's the goal. I don't want you to, once you change your identity, and it's not just, oh, I have to read 20 pages a day. Your identity is, I am a reader, or I am a speed reader. And then you're integrated. Right? Your mindset, your motivation, and your methods are all aligned, and it's just how you show up in life, and it requires very little effort because you have the skill, right? And you have the purpose, and you don't have the brakes on with your mindset saying I'm not good enough, or I don't deserve it, or I'm just not smart enough, right? And that's really the goal. So the goal always with everything I teach, whether it's memory, whether it's focus, study skills, language learning, remembering names, speed reading, right? It's always looking at this limitless model and saying, okay, where am I bottlenecked? Is it in my mindset? Do I not believe it's possible? Do I not believe I'm capable? Do I not believe I deserve it? Or is it my motivation? Do I not have purpose? Am I just lacking energy, right? Or do I have not broken it down into small, simple steps, like with reading? Like I'm gonna show you small, simple steps this week on what you could do to be able to get more out of reading. So if you're not reading it faster, like speed reading, you're reading it smarter, right? At least you're getting more out of it. Or maybe you're using old methods of reading when you were 6 or 7 years old and you just haven't upgraded it. And more people upgrade their phones, you upgrade your apps, you upgrade everything, but you don't upgrade like your mind. And that's the most important thing to upgrade today. We live in the millennium of the mind, and that's really the focus. So let's get out your book. We're going to do an exercise. By the way, if you're just joining us, if you hashtag, the replays are at limitlessbook.com/challenge. All right, maybe somebody could post it here on Instagram, or you can post it here, I'll pin it, limitlessbook.com/challenge. You can get all 5 days coming up for free, and also the recording, limitlessbook.com/challenge. Thank you for doing that. And when you post it and you tag me, you tag at Kwik Learning, we'll repost some of our favorites. And then we're actually gifting this brain box away. We're gifting 10 of these away. And it actually has, there's a some brain supplements and some other fun stuff in there also as well. Signed books, all that fun stuff. And also not just those 10, but we're giving away lots of different things just as a thank you for being part of this group. Limitless Challenge is the hashtag. The goal is to read 30 books this year. That's only 20 pages a day. 20 pages a day. And so let's do it. Everyone grab a book. All right? You need a brain box. All right, Kathy. Lean, very good to be here. So what we're going to do, the hashtag is Limitless Challenge. The website to go to get the watch is limitlessbook.com/challenge. So that's the goal. So everyone grab your book. We deliver it wherever you are in the world. We're going to give away at least 10 of those boxes away, as well as just these fun books. And by the way, if you're just joining us, these are some of my favorites. Again, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Leader's a Reader, The Magic of Thinking Big, Mindset by Dr. Carol Dweck, Man's Search for Meaning, one of my favorites, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I mean, basically, I have like just books like everywhere, right? So you could just get them like, you'd like be able to see them everywhere. All right, so everyone grab your book, and we're gonna do an exercise. All right, and I'm gonna time you. Actually, I'm gonna get a timer out here because now my phone's being used. Okay, everyone grab your book, and we're gonna do an exercise, a speed reading exercise. Okay, does everybody have a book? And I am going to ask you to read in a moment. Do not read yet, but I'm going to ask you to read how you would normally read. But this time I want you to read, countdown timer. I'm going to ask you to read for 60 seconds and read how you normally read. So some of you are watching this and you're working out or anything else. If you can't do this exercise, we'll just keep it to 1 minute. But I'm going to show you a couple of speed reading tips. But how are you going to know if it works or not if you don't, do the exercise? All right. So ultimately, you are your best student. So I'm going to everyone pick up a book. It could be a PDF book. It could be a digital book. Doesn't matter. And in a moment, I'm going to say go, and you're going to read for full comprehension. All right. Are you ready? All right. Go. Okay, and stop. All right, so now what I want you to do is you read for 60 seconds a book of your choosing. I want you to count the number of lines that you just read. Count the number of lines that you just read in 60 seconds. And if there's only 2 words in a line, don't count that as a line. All right, guesstimate. So, and everyone's going to be different. So what we're doing is a reading assessment. Yeah, you can put your grade. Share your numbers if you want. 19 lines, 23 lines, 18 lines, whatever number of lines. Perfect. All right, so that's wonderful. Now that's your base rate. So they call that your base rate. This is your starting rate for this particular book. Now we historically, I've been teaching this now for 29 years. We have students in 195 countries. For those of you part of our app, we have a program there that you can get. By the way, if you want that, it's at jimkwik.com/special. jimkwik.com/special. Maybe somebody could post that in the chat. And so we actually have a 50% discount for those of you who want to join. So 50% off tuition, jimkwik.com/special. And you can get our reading, our memory, our focus, our student success program at 50% off. Also, I want to congratulate and thank everybody who purchased Limitless. We've already donated multiple six figures of this. We just committed another 100,000 to Pencils of Promise for upcoming, some of you saw the billboard in Times Square of the book. We're donating the next 100,000 to Pencils of Promise to build schools for children. And we've done it everywhere from Kenya to Guatemala to Ghana, full schools. So that's something you can be really proud of, right? You learn so you can earn, so you can return. And it's good because every time you buy one of our programs online or our book, then part of it goes to children and also Alzheimer's research in memory of my grandmother. And we're really passionate about this. So know that while you're bettering your brain, while you're getting your education, there's a child who's getting their education because of you. So thank you for that. So again, so now you have a base rate. You read for 60 seconds. You count the number of lines that you read, and that's your lines per minute. Now, if you want to know what your words per minute is, they do that the same as typing speed. Just like typing speed is words per minute, they do a reading speed measure, because you can't manage something unless you measure it, right? You can't manage unless you can measure it. Just same thing with your health and other areas of your life. Now, I would say that in order to find out what your words per minute is, right now you have your lines per minute. Maybe it's 15 lines per minute. You just estimate how many words there are per line, because everybody's book is different, right? Whatever you're reading, everybody's book is different. So here I counted there are about 10 words per line. So I just multiply it by 10 words per line, and that's your words per minute. Does that make sense? And most people will be in the neighborhood of 200 to 300, 250 words per minute. That's the average reading speed. Now, everybody's different because everybody, Jenna, as you know, everybody is different awake level, energy levels. Everybody is maybe different levels of focus right now, because if you're thinking about somebody in the hospital or something like that, your mind might be going there, it might slow you down. So everybody's reading different material. I had everyone pick out their own book, and everyone's reading something different. So technical. Some people read something technical, but they have a big background in it. They call it schema. Wow, by the way, 612, amazing. We have a lot of our students here also as well, 660 doing Jim's course. Anita, thank you. 660 is amazing. But just look at it, Anita, 660, 800, amazing. Like, what an advantage somebody has if they're reading and understanding at 660 words per minute. When they started at 200 words per minute. So that's why we triple everyone's reading speed. Again, if you're just joining us, that program is at jimkwik.com/special. We built for you an app, a mobile app. You could do it web-based, so you could do it through the program. 15 minutes a day for 21 days, triple your reading speed. So essentially what normally would take an hour, you do in 20 minutes. The reason why this is important for everybody this week, taking the Limitless Challenge, committing to reading 20 pages a day, which equals the 30 books a year, is because leaders are readers. And we will spend an average of 4 or 5 hours a day processing information. 4 or 5 hours a day. Think about reading social media. Think about reading books. Think about reading newspapers. Think about reading business plans, whatever you're reading. 4 or 5 hours a day. Emails, right? If you could just double your reading speed and save 2 hours a day, right? Cut it in half, 2 hours a day. What's that over the course of a year? It's like too much math, right? Well, let's say 1 hour a day. Save 1 hour a day over the course of a year. Tell me, everybody. Yeah, how do you calculate? Where's the calculator? 1 hour a day, 365 hours. Like Candace, perfect, right? Rainer, 365 hours. How many 40-hour work weeks is that? If you break it down, 365 hours into 40-hour work weeks. How many? 9. Simon, absolutely. Over 9, about 9. Great math, right? Mental math. We call it in here, we call that digital deduction, right? Where when people aren't able to deduce and do mental math because they have calculators and everything. Remember back in school, I don't know, I'm aging myself, but back then, I don't know if you heard this, Jenna, they were like, oh, you have to do the math at long form because you're not going to carry calculators with you. But everybody has like calculators with them, right? 9 weeks, saving 1 hour a day over the course of a year on something ubiquitous like reading, save that's 2 months of productivity. Like, think about what you earn in 2 months. That's what that's worth to you, right? So learning how to read, this is all about, you know what it is? What is, tell me if you know what Stephen Covey's 7th habit is. What's the 7th habit? Does anyone remember this? Sharpening the saw. Simon, wow, you're on it. Sharpen the saw. Absolutely. And so if you have all this wood you need to cut, and that could be all the books you need to read, right? You have all these books everywhere, and it's shelf-help, not self-help, right? Do you want to struggle and suffer, try to read that, with a dull blade? No, you want to sharpen your saw early first, and then everything after that you cut like butter. That's like taking the speed reading course. So that's what I'm going to teach you over this week. If you want to go really deep, because I'm going to give you a lot of tips, then join us for our quick reading program. And again, this week it's on special, 50% off, and we're donating a significant portion of that to charity also as well. Go to jimkwik.com/special. Okay, here we go. Now, how do you improve this now that you join us? If you're just joining us, my name is Jim Kwik. I'm your brain coach. I think we live in the millennium of the mind, and now's the time to really upgrade this technology more than any. I think it's great. People are going out to space and everything, but what about the space between your ears, right? Let's take care of this first. Now, how are you going to improve this? Well, I'm going to give you a couple of things. Number one, first of all, there are obstacles to reading. If you read slow, number one, lack of education. So please write this down. I'm going to give you a tip, a big tip. Lack of education. Right? The last time you took a reading class, how old were you? 6 or 7? So the reading has expanded a lot. The difficulty has, but you still read like a 6 or 7-year-old because that's the last time we took a class, right? And so first you need the proper education, which is what we're doing. Second reason, lack of focus. Now, how many of you have trouble? You get distracted easily. You get mind wanders when you read, right? You read a page in a book, you forget what you just read. You go back and reread it, and you're like embarrassed. You still don't know what you just read. So you have to have better focus. Now here's a big aha. The reason why, if I ask you to read faster, what do you think will happen to your comprehension? You think it'll go down, right? If I ask you to double your reading speed from where it is now, it would go down. But in actuality, the faster readers, and I've been teaching this for 3 decades. We have a lot of data and students in 195 countries. So we have got a lot of feedback, right? It's real field tested. And we find the fastest readers actually have better comprehension. Why? Because they have better focus. Your brain is this incredible supercomputer, right? And when you read, you're feeding this supercomputer one word at a time. Metaphorically, we're starving our mind. And if you don't give your brain the stimulus it needs, it'll seek entertainment elsewhere. How? In the form of distraction. You're reading, it's like reading slow is like riding a bicycle really slow. Jenna, have you ever tried to ride a bicycle like really like super slow? What'll happen? You wobble, right? You fall, you need momentum. And that's a big challenge. And so I would say is giving Jim, the website is giving me message resource reaches maximum. Okay, yeah, we might be getting too much. There are a lot of people watching this. We have this in our Facebook group and there's 114,000 people there. Website down, too many people. All right, well, we have a lot of thousands of people watching this on social media and Zoom also. We crashed the site. All right, broke the internet again. All right, so what we want to do is we want to be able to, here's the lie, limited idea entertain. Remember, lies stand for limited idea entertain. We're going back to that first M, their mindset. What keeps you reading slow? All behavior is belief driven. All behavior is belief driven. And if you believe if you read faster, your comprehension will go down, you're not going to read any faster, right? And it's a lie that the faster readers have less focus. Faster readers actually have better focus. Why? Because they have better comprehension, because they have better focus. Because if you read slowly, you're not giving your brain the stimulus it needs. That's why you distract yourself, to get entertainment in other forms, right? It's like driving a car. If you're going really slow in your neighborhood, are you really focused on the act of driving? No, what are you doing? You're texting, which you know you shouldn't. You're drinking your coffee. You're talking to somebody. You're putting on makeup. You're doing 5 different things when you're going slow. But if you're going fast and you're racing cars, do you have more or less focus? A little bit or a lot? A whole lot, right? You're taking hairpin turns, at straightaways, 200 miles an hour. And so you're only focused on driving and what's in front of you. Same thing with faster readers. When you're a trained reader, you're focused on the act of reading and what's in front of you, right? You're not thinking about the dry cleaning. Your mind's not wandering when you're going that fast. So that's lack of focus. And then 2 more. The third obstacle to effective reading is sub-vocalization. And this is the thing that really, and I'm not trying to say read everything faster. I'm just saying have flexibility for things that you want to read faster. For things I want to read slow, like poetry or light fiction, you can read it slow. But for things that you want to get through, you want to get the comprehension, you want to be able to apply it, it's nice to have that power, right? Because leaders are readers. And most information that you need to process comes in the form of the written word still to this day, right? And so sub-vocalization. Now, what's sub-vocalization? Ever notice when you're reading something, you hear that inner voice inside your head? Hopefully it's your own voice. It's not like somebody else's voice inside your head. The reason why it's a challenge is if you have to say all the words to yourself to understand, you can only read as fast as you could speak. That means your reading speed is limited to your talking speed, not your thinking speed. Does that make sense? You know, and it's funny because most words, do you have to pronounce like a lot of words? Like when you're driving and you see a stop sign, I guarantee you nobody here says to yourself, stop. You don't say stop. Right? It's a good thing I'm a speed reader because these comments are going really fast, yeah. You know, I'll say stop, but do you understand what it means? 100%. 95% of all words you read are what they call sight words. What if you have Morgan Freeman's voice inside your head? How many people love the intro to our podcast from day one with Morgan Freeman? And yeah. Anyway, if you haven't listened to our podcast, listen to the first minute. I just still, after 200 plus episodes, I still listen to it. Love that movie too. Lucy, Matrix, right? Limitless, obviously. All right. So here's the thing. You don't have to say most words. Most words are filler words. And, there, because, if, that, right? And you don't have to pronounce these words. You don't have to pronounce words like New York City to understand what New York City is, right? And so you know it by sight. You don't have to pronounce it by sound. So saying the words actually slows you down. And Marsha's saying, I know karate. I know kung fu, right? So that's really the goal, is not to pronounce all the words. You'll say some of the words still, but it slows you down because you only read as fast as you could speak. How many of you listen to our podcast, or many of you have listened to Limitless on audio, and you listen to any audio book or any podcast, and you listen to it at higher speeds? You listen at 1.5 or 2x or something like that. Yeah. So how many people say yes, always, right? Because that saves time. And you can understand that fast 2 times or 3 times, but nobody could speak that fast. You know, I have a dear friend, lifelong friend. We had the same birthday, and she's the Guinness Book World Records fastest human speaking female, fastest talking female in the world. She broke it on Larry King, 603 words per minute. Can you imagine? She could speak, just mind blowing. She could speak 603 words a minute. I can't even imagine being in a relationship with this. Like arguments come up, like the argument is like done before it even it even starts. But that's over 10. That's 10 words per second, right? But even when we tested her reading speed, she can't read any faster than she could speak, right? So now here's the thing: you don't have to say the words in order to understand them. And that's the thing. You know, the fastest readers out there, they learn to not sub-vocalize. And so part of what we teach you in our course is how to minimize and mitigate sub-vocalization. And then finally, the 4th obstacle to effective reading, besides lack of education, lack of focus, sub-vocalization, big one, regression. Regression is back skipping. How many of you found yourself rereading? You read a sentence. By the way, I picked up this book. This is called Whole Brain Living. It's coming out soon. This is with Dr. Jill Bolte-Taylor. I interviewed her for a podcast. This is Dr. Shane, who's one of my sleep doctors who wrote Peak Sleep Performance for Athletes. We have an interview coming out with him as well. If you're just joining us, 2 weeks ago, I released a podcast episode with Greg McEwen, who wrote Effortless. This is a follow-up to his book Essentialism. And I am reading this book myself, Dr. Shafali, who's a good friend, relationship expert. I want to interview her when it comes to the mind and relationships. And then another one, Dr. Drew, Eat to Beat Depression and Anxiety. I have him coming on the show next week also. What's your words per minute, Jim? So here's the thing, words per minute. I started like everybody. Actually, it took me, because of my brain injury when I was a child, when I was 5 years old, it took me 3 years longer just to learn how to read. And so that was a big challenge for me. When I was 9 years old, I was slowing down the whole class because I couldn't read as well as everybody And teacher pointed to me and said, that's the boy with the broken brain. And so that label became my limit. That's why I called the book Limitless. And the reason why I called it Upgrade Your Brain and Learn Anything Faster, Unlock Your Exceptional Life is because, there were so many kids that were called exceptional. And I remember I was playing with these kids and the teacher came in and said, I need all of you come in. We're creating a new group called MASP, More Able Student Program. And I was the only one that wasn't included. So I found somebody else on the playground and we created something called LASP, Less Able Student Program. So that was my identity back then. So mindset, that's why I start with mindset first in the Limitless Model, because it's so important to be able to address, because everything is going to stem from that. But going back to regression is back skipping. So I read really slowly. And then I learned how to double and triple my reading speed, and then quadruple and so on. And there is an upward limit. I mean, who knows what that limit happens to be? Just like you can't eventually bench press a car, but who am I to say? I don't think the sky's the limit. I think really our mind is the limit. But I read things at different speeds, right? Like if I don't speak a language or I don't have a background in quantum mechanics or whatever, I don't understand it, speed reading is not going to help. Right? The goal for everybody here is to have flexibility where you can, my teachers would have been surprised if I read a book, really, much less wrote a book, right? And now I'm reading still like a book a day, maybe 5 books a week, at the very least, because reading is your mind would exercise your body. And that's the whole point of this Limitless Challenge that we're doing. Hashtag Limitless Challenge. Again, we're gifting away signed copies of the books and books that I purchased from past podcast guests also as well. So I could double, triple, and quadruple my reading speed, but there is some kind of upward limit. It really depends on what you're reading. Some people are reading something technical. But going back to the 4th obstacle effective reading is rereading words, back skipping. Have you ever read something, found yourself rereading that line again? Right? And so my goal for everybody here is to read 20 pages a day. No matter if you're a slow reader or you're a speed reader, 20 pages a day will get you to 30 books a year. The average person only reads 2 to 3 books a year, guys. If you're reading 10 times as many books on negotiation, on entrepreneurship, on fulfilling relationships, on health and biochemistry, on learning neuroscience, whatever you're interested in, crypto, you have the biggest advantage in the world. But you have to schedule it every single day, because if you don't schedule it, you're not going to do it. So this is our way of making reading fun, because I think a lot of people don't read, it's not because they don't want to, it's just they're not good at it. They learn poor methods. Maybe their mindset and motivation is there, but the methods they're using is when they were in grade school. And so I'm going to say this is my philosophy on everything going on with the world right now. The biggest mistake people are doing is do not downgrade your dreams to meet this current situation. People are when you're in fight or flight, right? You're scared, you freeze, or you're frozen, or you flee. That's not the time. This is not the time to do that. Now is the time to step up. Do not downgrade your dreams to meet this current situation. Upgrade your mindset, upgrade your motivation, upgrade the methods, your skills, your knowledge, your abilities to be able to meet your grand dreams. Now, let me show you a quick tip on how to overcome some of these obstacles. I'm going to take you through a quick 60-second exercise. I want you this time when you read, whatever book you're reading, right? I want you to underline the words this time with your finger. Just underline it. You don't have to touch the page. If you're reading on a digital device, you don't have to touch the screen. I just want you to underline it, because here's what you want to remember. Your visual focus leads your mental focus. Your visual focus leads your mental focus. When you underline the words or use a pen or a highlighter or a mouse on a computer, your eyes are attracted to motion, right? It's survival. As a hunter-gatherer, if you're in a bush hunting lunch, right? Whatever lunch is, a rabbit, carrot, whatever your diet is. If the bush next to you moves, you have to look, because it's your survival. Because number one, it could be lunch. Number two, you could be lunch. So either way, you have to look at what moves. So when you're using your finger to underline what you're reading, your attention is being pulled through the information as opposed to your attention being pulled apart. Does that make sense? So what I want you to do is I'm going to time you for the same 60 seconds. And what I want you to do is just underline the words and read for full comprehension. Just follow your finger across the page. And this is going to dictate it. And I'm going to time you for, if you did this exercise previous, then you're going to compare the two, okay? And if you're just joining us, what we're doing is we're doing a Limitless Challenge together. This week, I'm going to ask everybody to read just 20 pages a day. And I'm going to meet with you an hour a day here in our private Facebook group or on Zoom, or I'm not going to do it, unfortunately, on Instagram again. We just did this just to honor you and to be with you. So probably not likely to do that because I need my phone for some of these exercises. But go to limitlessbook.com/challenge and you can get access to it. But we put all the replays in our new app. So we created a brand new app with you. You can create your own profile. You can meet each other, create book clubs. I'm in there more than any other social media. You notice on Instagram, I've only posted like once in the past like 2 weeks. I'm spending all my time in our group just working with, just these amazing minds. All right. So what I want you to do, and if you haven't joined our speed reading course, you could do that at jimkwik.com/special. And it's 50% off all our courses, and then part of those proceeds are going to charity for educational purposes for kids. All right, are you ready? All right, so quicklearning.com, try going quicklearning.com/special, all right? Because I know you crashed the other one. kwiklearning.com, our company name, .com/special. Can somebody put that please there? Great, thank you so much. All right, let's do this exercise. Pick up where you left off. Put a mark in the margin so you know where you start. And this time, read for 60 seconds. I'm going to time you for 60 seconds. Do not start yet, but this time you're going to underline the words as you read. Are you ready? And I'm going to come back and give you a big wrap up. Ready? Read for comprehension, but underline the words this time. Go. Thirty seconds. And stop, please. Now count the number of lines you just read. Before, when we started this conversation with all of you, I had you read for 60 seconds, count the number of lines, and then I had you use your finger, and this time you're gonna do it, you did it, and what was the second number? 9 extra lines. Amazing. How many of you saw a boost? 12 more. Amazing. 18 to 24. Amazing. 20 more lines. Double. Wow. 9 more. So, and this is without any practice. And I know people on Instagram can't see this, but so just using your finger while you read, on average, will boost your reading speed 25 to 50%. Now, that's not a little, that's a game changer. How many of you would love to have gotten 50% return on your time and investment, more, right? That's just using your finger while you read, and something that you're doing on a regular basis. Now, in the upcoming sessions, what we're going to do is we're going to fine tune this, and we're going to focus on remembering what you read. We're going to focus on building your concentration. We're going to focus on what's the mindset of a rapid reader and a strong, smart reader. When I read, it's not frenzy fast. When I read, I don't read any faster than I want to understand. What it is a superpower. If knowledge is power, learning is your superpower. The reason I say this is one of my very first students, when I started teaching this, I started tutoring. She was 18 years old. She was a freshman. She read 30 books in 30 days. 30 books in 30 days. And I wanted to find out not how she did it. I wanted to know why. Congratulations. This is incredible growth. 30 to 49. Here's the thing. And I found out that I want to know her motivation. And it was her mother was dying of terminal cancer. And doctors gave her mom only 2 months to live, 60 days. And the books she was reading were books to save her mom's life. Books on health and wellness, energy, medicine. And I wished her luck, prayers. 6 months goes by and I get a call from this young lady and she's crying. And when she stops, I find out they're tears of joy. That her mother not only survived, but is really thriving. Doctors don't know how, they don't know why. They called it a miracle. but her mother attributed 100% to the great advice she got from her daughter, who learned it from where? From these books. And I get goosebumps, just thinking about it. I call them truth bumps. But that's when I realized that if knowledge is power, you've heard it all the time, then reading is our superpower. And it's a superpower we all have. And if you're not a great reader, it's not your fault. We just weren't taught, right? We weren't taught. If you don't have great focus, it's not your fault. Like going to somebody saying focus or concentrate, it's like going to somebody saying play the ukulele, who's never taken a class on how to play the ukulele, right? But that's my goal, is to be able to fill in those gaps, to help you upgrade your focus, your memory, your reading abilities, your learning abilities, so you can have greater competence. But also with that competence comes what? Confidence, right? What's truly limitless, is where jobs are going and being outsourced to automation and artificial intelligence. You want the greatest advantage? The greatest competitive advantage in the world is an individual or organization's ability to learn rapidly and translate that learning into what? Into action. And that's what we're going to be doing over the next few days together. So if you're in, say yes. Give me a Limitless. And what I want you to do is post a picture of the book that you're reading. Hashtag it. Limitless Challenge. You're going to read 20 pages a day. That's it, 20 pages a day. Using your finger, try doing that. Tag me, tag at Kwik Learning so we see it. We'll repost some of our favorites. And I will be gifting a lot of these books. These are different languages, so I don't know which languages you read and speak. But also we've made 10 of these brain boxes full of brain goodies. And we're going to be gifting these out also as well. If you want the replay for this, please share it. Invite your friends and family, because the fastest way to learn something is to have a learning buddy. So send them to limitlessbook.com/challenge. I know there's a bunch of URLs there, but that's where you could invite your friends and share so they could join us tomorrow when I talk about have greater memory and deeper focus while you read. I want to thank everybody for joining us. Jenna, thank you so much Jenna here's our in-house Limitless librarian. And we want to be here to be able to support you. Our goal is to help build better, brighter brains. No brain left behind is our goal. And we would love to enlist you in helping us on our mission. Our mission is to build more readers in the world. Leaders are readers, right? And so when you go to sleep tonight, may you rest deeply. May you have fantastic dreams. May you wake up with focus and determination. And may you live with greater levels of play and gratitude. And I wish your days be full of lots of life, lots of love, lots of laughter, and always lots of learning. Take care, everyone. Screenshot this, tag me in it, post it with the link, and I'll see you in tomorrow's lesson. Thank you, everybody. Bye now.